Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Better Late Than Never podcast. Here I am in a little bit of a different setting. I'm actually in my bedroom. Rebel's hopping on the bed right now. But yeah, I just wanted to switch up the atmosphere a little bit. I felt like not only was the lighting a little bit better in my bedroom, but I don't know, it's just good to switch it up. I don't have like the best background going on, but it is what it is. We're here to talk about the Lord, so we're not going to worry about the background. I also still have my mini Christmas tree up, as you can see. I'm probably going to take all my Christmas decorations down like as soon as I'm done recording. I'd like to keep them up like as long as possible because honestly this year it just didn't even feel like Christmas to me. I don't know if anybody else is on the same page, but Christmas came and went so fast, and yeah, it just feels like we didn't even have it. And so like I just love to have that cozy Christmas feeling as long as possible. And you probably hear Trix, my cat, she's actually my outdoor cat, but I let her in every now and then because she's very cuddly. So yeah, she's a little noisy today. But hey guys, I'm so glad you are joining me today, and look at me. I am just a week later from my last episode. So yes, I'm trying to post way more consistently. I've been doing this thing at night where I've been coloring a lot. So I have like this coloring devotional book, which is actually really cute. And it's like one of those like adult coloring books, you know, where it's like super small details that you can color, and it's just very aesthetic. But one thing that I am trying to like really work on this year, obviously, is just try to get rid of the distractions. So like my phone, and I know this is everybody, is such a big distraction for me, and I will just be scrolling on all the social medias, comparing myself, you know, everything that you do with social media. And so now when I'm coloring, it's very distracting. So I will put like a sermon or something on YouTube, and then I'll color, and it just really helps me to really dig in and listen to the word and listen to the message. So if you're having that same problem, definitely try that. So yeah, I ordered some special like little coloring markers and all the things. But yeah, so just at nighttime when you're really prone to scrolling and all of the things, I think it would be so much better if we started off our year at nighttime. The last thing we intake into our brain before we go to sleep is something positive and filled with the word and all the good things. But so something that has been on my heart today and will be basically the topic of this podcast today is I really want to study as much as possible and learn how I can be the Proverbs 31 woman that we are all as women called to be. And this podcast is not just for women, this is for the men too. You know, how can we expect to, like if you're a man, how can you expect to pull a Proverbs 31 woman if you are not walking right in the Lord? So we're just going to talk about becoming a Proverbs 31 woman and what that looks like, and if you are a guy, just how you can pull a Proverbs 31 woman and what that looks like, and how you can be equally yoked with a Proverbs 31 woman. So I did take little notes today in my little Hello Kitty notebook, but we'll just start off by simply just reading Proverbs 31. It's not that long, and then we'll break it down into verses. So if you do have your Bible, obviously go ahead and open it up to Proverbs 31. And I'm gonna start with verse 10, as this is where it starts to talk about the noble character of a wife. So Proverbs 31:10, a wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant's ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it out of her earnings, and she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies the merchants with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. And I know the verse as and laughs without fear of the future. I actually have I had this whole thing made for Proverbs 31:25 because it's like one of my favorite scriptures. And fun fact, I actually had it as my little senior quote in the yearbook. Anyway, so she is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. It's just so beautiful. I just love, it's like a poem. I just love it. But yeah, let's break that down. Okay, ladies, we're going to break it down. And I have my notes. I had to take notes for this, guys. Usually I'm not a note person, but, so this is actually written, it's spoken by a woman to a man. So it was not actually written to be spoken to a woman. It was written for as almost like a mother would be talking to her son. So she's basically like telling him like, this is the character of a woman that you should look for. This is the character of a woman that you should marry. It describes the kind of wife a Christian man should pray for and seek for. And it's also obviously a goal for women. So I love that the Bible breaks this down for us, because so many women are just lost and wondering why they're still single, why are they attracting the wrong men, why does nobody love me, like why am I not worthy enough, all of the things. And all of those thoughts obviously are coming from the enemy, but there's got to be a reason like why we think these things and why we're attracting certain people. And it's literally written out for us. It's written out for us on how to find your husband. It's also to remind the Christian man how he must fear the Lord to be worthy and compatible with such a virtuous woman. As I said before, how can you expect to find a virtuous woman, a Proverbs 31 woman, if you are living in the world and all of your thoughts are worldly and all you can think about is the lusting over women, and you have the wrong, like you have the wrong intention. If you have the wrong intention from the beginning, there's absolutely no possible way that it's going to work out, and the relationship is not yoked, and the relationship is not going to be blessed by the Lord. Anytime I feel an inkling of even a first date, I am praying to the Lord immediately before even the first date, because I don't know about y'all, but I do not like to waste my time. And even a date, and that sounds awful, but even a date to me is wasting my time. There's been times where like I have foolishly like drove to a guy for the date. No. And it happened to be like the worst date ever. So it's like, and do I think that's wrong? I mean, no, but yes, like there's things that a man should do and things that a woman should do, and it really just doesn't have to be that deep. Like it's all rooted in what will bring the Lord the most glory. So one of the things that first stands out to me, and it's actually the second verse, is she's worth far more than rubies. Now, obviously, when you hear the word rubies, you're like, oh, that's like extravagant, that's rich, like beautiful rubies. And it's true. A virtuous woman who fears the Lord and does all and is all of these things that are characterized right here is rare. Should it be rare? Sadly, it is, but it is. A virtuous woman is rare and valuable. Her worth is far above rubies. That is just like, why would you want to settle when the Lord is telling you that you are far above rubies? Don't settle, ladies. Do not settle. Wisdom itself is also being described as more valuable than rubies, and I totally agree with that. Wisdom is so important in your walk with faith, and I'm still learning, y'all. I have, within the last year and a half, I have become so much more wise with the Lord, and it's really by reading this, studying the Word. It's exactly what I did. All I did was read Proverbs 31 and did my own research, so-called research, and interpretation of what the scripture is saying. And it brought me wisdom. And when you're comparing rubies to wisdom, that wisdom is so rare. And that wisdom is what makes you a Proverbs 31 woman. It is, because you have to have wisdom to look at these commands and be okay with following these commands. Like, I mean, we're going to get into it, but there's so many women out there who are just so lost and so feminized and just think like, like I don't need to listen to a man. No man needs to tell me what to do. I don't need to work from home, or I don't need to be a stay-at-home wife and raise kids. No, I'm gonna climb the corporate ladder because I can be better than a man. And it's almost like a prideful thing. It's so prideful, and it's like, submit to the Lord. The Lord tells you to submit to your husband, and it tells you to take care of your family. And just so many women are just so the opposite. Like they're listening to the worldly views of what a relationship should look like, and having to be equal and all of that stuff. It's just so by the enemy. And it's like, just sit here and read this chapter, read this verse, and it points it all out to you. how can we ever have a society that is against divorce and just has beautiful relationships? And we're not going to have that until we become this. And like women and women love to preach like, oh, like we don't need no man, and like it's almost cool to have multiple boyfriend, like multiple marriages, like divorce is just normal. It's like, oh, I don't like him anymore, divorce, on to the next. Those marriages are absolutely never going to be fruitful, ever. The only way a relationship is going to be fruitful and is going to last until your last dying breath is if it's rooted in the Word and it's rooted in Scripture and in Christ. Let's continue. Her character is trustworthy, filled with integrity. God's blessing will be on her home. So the Proverbs 31, it points out all of the character of a virtuous woman, which I kind of already said. But it says she is trustworthy. She is filled with integrity. What does that mean? That means that when her husband gets up in the morning to go provide for his family, he knows and he can trust that his wife is going to hold down the fort. She's gonna feed the kids, and she's gonna feed him. She's gonna have supper ready for him when he gets home. He is trusting that she will not look in another man's direction. She will not be unfaithful, and it goes both ways. I mean, obviously women want to feel that about their man too, but we're talking about Proverbs 31 woman right now. A husband will seek her confidence and advice with no fear of her betrayal. He will be so trustworthy in her that he can come to her for advice about anything, and know that she will not go tell anybody else. His secrets are safe with her, and he knows that no matter what he tells her, she will not betray him. She brings gain to her husband, and in great measure. That could be in so many different ways, but equally yoked. I'm always going to go back to that equally yoked, because if you're not yoked, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so she brings gain to her husband, and in great measure. So, I mean, it goes both ways. She knows how to find things that are necessary resources for her home. So she cares enough about her home that if something is wrong, she knows the resources to fix a problem. She doesn't have to lean on her husband to fix everything around the home. It's an equal thing. Like, obviously, yeah, the man's probably going to be the one to fix it, but she's not sitting back waiting for him to get home from work after he's had a really long day and say, oh, hey, like, that's not working anymore. Can you go see about it? No, like, she's one step ahead. She's part of everything that they do together. She cares. It's about being caring. You care about your home, and if things, are needing fixing. She does not think working with her hands is beneath her. She willingly works. I love that. I think when we say, like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and so I don't have to work, but that's a job in itself. Honestly, a stay-at-home mom, that's a job. You're taking care of the children, and you're taking care of the home, and you're cleaning, and that's a job in itself. But we'll get into, like, the laziness aspect of this as well. But, like, she's not lazy. She wants to work. She wants to willingly work. She wants to help provide where she can. And it's not beneath her. Like, don't be afraid to get down and dirty. That's one thing I really pride myself in, is like I'm not afraid to get out there and work, like put some boots on, get a little dirty. Like it's not only is it nature that God made and it's beautiful, but it's like, why are we sitting at home all day and just sitting on the couch and rotting away? Like, get out in nature and do work and work on your home and just provide, you know? She's right. Okay, this one is the one that gets me, you guys. She rises early and prepares food. So it actually says that she gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family. So what does that look like, getting up? It means getting up early, most likely before 8 a.m. Now, I do get up before 8 a.m. I get up around like 7, usually 7 or 7:30. But I get up at a time, but at the same time, what this really means is get up and have time with the Lord. Very first thing you do when you get up is that you should be spending time with the Lord. Not only does it get your day going and like really just the perfect start to your day, but that's what we're commanded to do. She gets up while it's still night. Basically, it's still dark outside. Like, you honestly have no idea what you can do with like an extra hour in your morning. Like, and I'm preaching to myself right now because I love sleep, okay? And there are times where I wake up and I'm like, just move that alarm a little bit later. But it's like, if I actually got up and got in the Word, like how powerful that is to start your day. So it's another thing, like I really, like I am in the Word every day, but I don't typically do it in the morning. I typically do it after work. Now I do listen to like podcasts throughout the day, which is usually in the morning. So like I'll get to work, and instead of playing like a true crime podcast right away, I will play like some Sadie Robertson or like just any Girls Gone Bible, whatever, to start my morning off instead. And it really does make all the difference with a cup of Joe. So good. And then prepares food. I think that cooking food is like such a love language. Serving somebody food is just, I just think that's the biggest love language. Like it takes time, it takes resources, it takes effort, it's like all of these things, and then you get this beautiful dish and it's like, feed my soul. But yeah, I just think preparing food is such a love language. And if your husband is not thankful when you have a fresh, hot plate of food waiting for him when he gets home from work, then Lord, I will be praying for him. Okay. But yeah, listen, ladies, if you're sitting there listening to this and you don't know how to cook, start learning. I had to teach myself. I was raised by a single dad for a while, and all he did was know how to put frozen foods in the oven. So I literally had to teach myself. So I taught myself. I started in college, and I definitely recently mastered it as an adult. I love cooking now. Yeah, let's not get off topic. Food, yes. Cook for your man, ladies. She takes care of her own health and strength. So exercise, that is something that I love. I love fitness. I can't remember the last time I missed a week of going, even if it's just once out of the week. I haven't missed going to the gym in like a couple years, but I can definitely be better. And especially be better about what I am eating. But yeah, so fitness is very important. Take care of your body. Your body is your temple, and it's important to take care of yourself. Like your soul all is can be beautiful, but your body needs to be beautiful too. Like, you just take care of yourself, guys. Be careful what you put in your body. Don't defile your body. I mean, that's why they say that like gluttony is a sin, because you're defiling your temple, or your holy temple. Like, just exercise, okay? Which brings up, so you guys know the like fitness trend called 75 hard or whatever, or is that a fitness trend, or is that like a sobriety thing? Could be both. But there is one. Red Bull is snoring. There is one right now called 75 Heart for Jesus, and honestly it does sound a little hard, but I'm very intrigued. So basically you work out 5 times a week, which sounds kind of hard, not gonna lie. No gossiping. You do a prayer walk every day, so that could be like part of your cardio, but it's like a prayer walk. Fast one thing for the whole 75 days, and church every week, once a week, progress photos weekly with your fitness, and practicing gratitude. So that's the 75 heart. So if you are looking for like a little fitness routine and you want to incorporate it into your faith journey, I think that's a really good one. So if anyone decides to do that, let me know, because I'd be very proud of you. Okay. All right, let's keep going. She cares for and helps both the poor and needy. I love that. So she's generous, she's caring, she has a big heart. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Tithing. I think tithing has definitely been a big part of my faith recently. Like, the Lord provides. The Lord will always provide, and we always need to give back to our church, guys. Tithing is so important, and it's not even our money. It's the Lord's money, you know? It's the Lord's money, and He will provide always. So if you haven't tithed before, it's typically 10% of your like weekly earning. So you just, whatever you made that week, do the math, and you tithe that amount. So yeah, definitely keep that on your thoughts and prayers if you haven't tithed before. But you know, you can also, like, sometimes instead of tithing, like if I'm like for Christmas last month, we did a whole like stocking stuffing thing where we did a bunch of stockings for some homeless families, like, who have kids and can't provide. And so, you know, that did cost me some money, and so like that was kind of like my tithe instead. So I think that goes into the caring for like the poor and needy as well. She makes good things for herself and enjoys personal marks of God's blessing on her family. When I see personal marks of God's blessing on her family, that's like clothing. So like I love to dress up, especially on Sundays. Like, I'm wearing this maxi dress right now. I'm wearing like my Kate Spade necklace, my Kendra Scott rings, like Kendra Scott earrings. I always make sure to wear the finest of things when I'm going to church or like any kind of church event, because I want to present myself well. But also, like, I think that's what that means when it says she makes good things for herself and enjoys personal marks of God's blessing. Like, we obviously need to be humble and you know, not spend more than we earn, and it's important to like be thankful and thank the Lord for the things that you receive in life. But a Proverbs 31 woman wants to look good, and if she has the ability here and there to like splurge on herself a little bit, and so that she can make herself look good, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Like, a lot of people think, like, just because like, oh, they're Christians, like they shouldn't be wearing um like those designer brands and look, they can't like they're just so uppity and da da da. Well, that's not. I mean, it could be true with some people, but it's not always the case. Like you wanna present yourself well. Um, her husband is known in the gates, so um, when it says that, basically her husband is esteemed and honored. So for the men, um, you have this virtuous woman by your side, but you also you need to put yourself out there in your community, be involved and help out with the community and be a name and a face to people, and somebody that she can be proud to be with. And I think that's what this is saying, is that he's esteemed and honored, and he's involved in the community. Like you're involved, you're part of the community, you have a name and a face that is honored in the community. She's clothed with strength and dignity. So she cares more about the display of her character than the outward display of her clothing. So, yes, you like to look good and look good on Sundays or whenever when you're out and about. But with that verse that I love, she's clothed in dignity and strength and laughs at the fear of the future, is that even what her outward appearance might look like, she still holds a beautiful character about herself, and the inward display of her heart is so much more beautiful than just the clothes she's wearing and all of that good stuff. So like you could be a woman that is just like all dressed up, you got the most beautiful clothes, you've got the most beautiful makeup, you look the part, but you could have the ugliest heart. Like have you ever met that girl where you're like, I want to be your friend, like she's so pretty and popular and blah blah blah, but then you meet her and you're like, how is this girl popular? Like she's so mean and she's so like, that just shows that like materialistic things mean nothing. It literally means nothing. She has wise speech and words that show the law of kindness. She has wise speech and words that show the law of kindness. So she's just kind of going back to how about wisdom. She has wisdom, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. She avoids laziness, eating the bread of idleness. So going back to being willing to work, like don't be lazy. Like laziness actually also brings a lot of like it can bring a lot of depression, like because I've experienced this myself, like especially after my breakup. Like all I wanted to do is sit around and be lazy and eat my feelings and just rot on the couch. We love to rot on the couch. Everybody loves to rot on the couch. But we avoid that. Proverbs 31, women, we avoid that. We don't want to eat the bread of idleness when there's other things that could be done, A woman who fears the Lord has beauty that does not pass, and charm that does not deceive. A woman who fears the Lord has beauty that does not pass, and charm that does not deceive. I love that. A woman who fears the Lord has beauty that does not pass, and charm that does not deceive. So you could be a beautiful, beautiful woman, but you can be so deceitful and you can have charm. You can have charm. You can have all the charm. But when you're virtuous and you fear the Lord, that beauty never fades. And you can have charm that does not deceive. You're just charmful. You're not wicked. A man should first seek a woman who fears the Lord. Period. Period, men. A man should first seek a woman who fears the Lord. Guys, if you ever get a girl's number or get your hands on a woman who fears the Lord and loves the Lord and lives by the Lord, do not let her slip. Do not, because they are rare like rubies. And you will never find one like, I mean, you might, but they are rare like rubies. And if you lose that woman, it will most likely haunt you for the rest of your life. And women, same goes for you too. If you find a virtuous man who fears the Lord and puts the Lord before you, but treats you so well, got a good one. He got a good one. Yeah, you guys, like, this is the year, 2025 is the year that Proverbs 31 women will find their husbands, and it will be the year that we will turn more women into Proverbs 31 women. Because that is the kind of world we need, and that is the kind of women that men should first seek. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I would love if you guys would follow me on all of my other channels. My Instagram is Alexis Noelle. Alexis with 2 S's. Noelle is spelled Noelle. I'm on TikTok and everything as well, but most of my stuff is on Instagram. But yeah, I love you guys, and I just pray you have the best year and you set the best goals for you and your family. And let me know how you would like me to continue to do podcasts, if you like the format that I've kind of been going on, or what kind of topics you want to hear about. I would love you guys giving me feedback. But anyway, happy Sunday. Love y'all.